Part 2, Chapter 3, Measures of Central Tendency. I am left-handed, so that's why I am now a mess after making this poster. But the 4 measures of central tendency behind me are really the most commonly used when we're talking about descriptive statistics or really just diving into a data set. This is something that you should do first. You should really just look at how the data kind of look. And these 4 measures behind me are really the kind of the first line of defense, right, in describing your data. So for some of you, this might be a review of like 8th grade math class. For some of you, you might need a refresher. So please bear with me if this is something that is totally known already to you, but if this is completely foreign to you, hopefully this will be helpful. So when we talk about the mean, what is the mean of a data set? We are talking about the average, right? Again, I have my very sophisticated posters behind me here. So the mean of a set of data is the average. Now the risk of calculating a mean is if you have outliers, right? So something like AGI, adjusted gross income. If you were to take find the mean of a set of data that is people's incomes, you could have people who are extremely low income in that sample, household incomes of $20,000, $30,000. You could have people in that data set that are, Bill Gates, Bill Haslam level billionaires, right? So when you have outliers in your data, they tend to skew the mean, and they can either skew it down or up. Another example that I'll kind of continue using is test scores. If everybody gets around an 80 on a test, but some of your students got like a 30 or a 20 because they didn't prepare, and you have a couple rock stars that get 100, 99, 100, that's going to mess up the mean, and it's probably going to give you an artificial sense of what the average actually is. But that's not to say that the mean is never used. It's used quite often, so that's just something to be aware of when you are calculating the mean. What you should always do in addition to calculating the mean is to find the median. So the median is literally the middle. You line up all of your data points from lowest to highest, and you find the one in the middle, right? So if you have 11 observations, it's the observation that is number 6 in your line, right? And so if your median is very, very different from your mean, that's something to think about in terms of, do you need to maybe change your sample? Do you need to drop observations that are just really, really far out there one way or another, low or high, or how you want to treat that? If you ever do that in data that you're working with, you just need to document. You need to put a footnote, or you need to put some kind of note somewhere that says some of these observations were really, really large outliers or really, really small outliers, so I got rid of them. Okay, great. So when you think about the mode in a data set, the mode is the most frequent observation in the data set. So again, if you have 11 observations and 6 of those 11 observations are an 83, right? You gave a test to 11 students. Of those 11 students, 6 of them earned an 83, and the 5 of them remaining earned whatever other scores. The mode would be 83. Okay? Again, pretty simple once you kind of do it a couple times. Again, this could be totally review for some people. It could be brand new to others. But when we talk about mean, median, mode, those are kind of the 3 standard metrics that everyone will often talk about with any kind of data set. Similarly, the range, you can't see it because I'm sitting here. But the range of the data is the largest observation minus the smallest observation. So if you have a set of observations, the lowest of which is 1, the highest of which is 100, your range is 99, right? Very simple, largest minus the smallest in your data. I actually have a really goofy YouTube video that does not feature me, thank God, with the mean, median, mode song. And it's something you use to teach like an 8th grade math class, but I'm going to put it up on the D2L site just so you all have it. It's really silly, it's really kind of stupid, but I promise you it will help you remember means and medians and modes. And I think that was all I wanted to mention about all of that. A really good example, I think the book has some really good examples of this, and so it's a little bit dry, right? This book is not like super enthralling, but I think the examples they give about crime rates and other issues in kind of social science research more broadly are actually quite helpful. So I will be back in like 10 seconds to talk a little bit about standard deviations. and z-scores. Again, we're going to get way, way, way more into that in the next couple weeks, but this is really just a preview. So stay tuned. Give me 1 second to change my poster back here.